This is Marcus with Mom and Pop, and we're introducing another gem to you today. And this gem is originally from NYC. He now finds himself in Plant City, Florida. He's got an upcoming fight on 22nd of April. That's going to be with the Flex Fight series. And in addition to that, he's going to be in the acting world now with the film coming out. It's called The Secret Mechanic, dropping March 5th. And another film after that, a film called David, coming out in April. Jim is a professional fighter at heart. He specializes in bare-knuckle and MMA. And so this gem of the week is Zach Johnson. Nice to meet you, Zach. So tell us about yourself. How did you discover your passion for being an athlete?
So I was a 3-sport athlete back in high school, and then I went on to play semi-pro football, and then after semi-pro football, that there was a gentleman that wanted to train me in and do martial arts, and I wasn't really big into fighting and stuff. And I started to train, and that I love to train. I love to compete. I love the competition, and I just got into it, and I made mistakes on my way through, as a young amateur to a young a pro athlete, especially inside the boxing world, and except for living in 1 years ago, and and then I finally, and then I went to BKFC, on tryouts. They were in New York, and that I made it for me, and now I'm signed to Waterhouse Management. That's under Ryan Perez. He's a great mentor. He's a great manager, a coach, and I'm excited for the fight now.
Okay, awesome. So you mentioned that, of course, along the way, when you're new to something, you're going to make mistakes. So if you don't mind sharing, what did you have to learn along the way that you didn't know that you wished you would have known maybe at the beginning of your process there?
Sure. That I did it without a coach the first 3 fights. I didn't have a command plan. I took on very, very tough fights. It was not smart. But, I love to compete, so I will face the best. And it was a learning experience. I got signed to Kevin Smith, and then I went to Florida and I started training with them. And now I had a great camp with them going in to my BKFC with debut that was in Salem, Mayfield, New York, which is not far from my hometown. And it's just things happen. That the guy that I was supposed to fight, he went out to a bar, and he was in eating on contest or something that was on a podcast. And so the commission canceled the fight. Then there's rumors because of a video came out saying that I was going to die in the ring, that I had all the guilty parties. That was not true, and I didn't really push the issue, because if I did, then everybody would have thought that was true and everything. I believe actions speak louder than if words being there. And I'm going to prove that and everything. And I just feel really good. I feel very confident, especially being under with Lion now and Waterhouse. I agree. I agree on teammates. I agree with coaching. And also with mentor in him, which is a lion of pride. So I just feel really good. I feel very confident. I'm the most confident that I've been. I look better. I'm stronger. I'm faster. I'm more technical. So I feel very good going in the 22nd fight.
Okay, well, that's awesome. So that confidence, do you think you always had that, or did you develop it over time?
I think that I've gotten more costume being under slaughterhouse, definitely coming from Kevin first, and then going to slaughterhouse. I just worked hard, and I want to win. I want to be the best, that I've already faced the best. And, and this kid, he is just not the best. I don't think, from what I have faced, I don't think that he's on the level, but it's a fight. Anybody can win. That you can make those mistakes. I just gotta stick to the plan. I gotta stick to what I'm taught, and I'm just to dominate, and finally I'll come out with a victory, and finally get back onto the winning way.
Gotcha. So that drive to win, that's your passion. That's what inspires you. That competitive edge. Nice. Let's talk about your upbringing. So you said you were born in New York. What part of New York?
So I was in the field late, but so I was over by Rochester, Canada, but if you're sort of being like that leader, like Western New York. So I'm about 7 hours from New York City. It's fun country.
Awesome. You had any siblings, or what was your family life like?
I do. That I have I have a younger brother, Scott, 36. I have a nephew, 11, and then I still have my parents. So, our family is always home in New York. I'm very blessed by it. I'm very humbled by it, and I just be every year.
So your fight in April, are they gonna be there cheering you on in the sidelines? Are they come to your events?
My parents will not be there. They just support me, but they don't want to see you fight, which I least shocked. I think that we're going to be very, very well. In the ticket sales, in the pay-per-view sales, I'm coming home. This is very cool. Yes, the fight's in New York City. It's 7 hours away from my home area, but it's been a long wait. It's been a long few years. I was supposed to fight in August, but I caught the whole COVID. Then another fight dropped, and I see the frustration with the people, and I deal with it on a daily basis. And it's just the social media, life, that we're in and stuff. And I'm just very humbled by it. And I just have a lot to prove. And I'm very angry inside, but I mean, not in a negative way. I just have a lot to prove, and there's a lot to unleash, and, that I'm ready to go. I feel very, very good, and I just want to put it out for my home state, and I just want that W. I want Slaughterhouse. Everybody on my team, they're all great fucking fighters. They're all talented fighters. Some of them has been a champion. Some are going to be champion. Ryan's goal, mine is to win. The one to get out now, winning way. And we want to get that first win out of the way. And I feel it. April 22nd, I feel very confident.
Oh, so this is your first fight with this group that you're with this team? Oh, okay. So you want to get your first fight with them, have to be a W, right?
Yeah.
And then have that happen in New York, that's a special feeling. So yeah, hopefully it goes well for you. Awesome. So you mentioned something that I want to kind of continue talking about. You mentioned how some fights that you have, because of COVID, they had to get canceled. So talk about how COVID affected your career in athletics and how you had to struggle through that, how you overcame some of those challenges.
Well, I can say when I fought Nova Lopez with the 2 years ago down in Alabama, COVID hit and they shut down the gym. So going in the fight camp for that fight from a few years ago, I had to do it old school, I had to be like a Rocky style actually, that my coach, we had a treadmill, we had a boxing bag, and there's no shed that, and that's how we trained. We trained that way, but we ran, around town, just to get the cardio in, that we sparred on the track, or went to the beach and we get a beach workout, and I know that Noah that we think in Texas, but when I bought them, they had their gyms open, Florida had their gyms open, so I had to train different. So I had to train old school way, which was different. I mean, different not being a boxing fan, great, that I had a great camp, but I wish that I would have been in the boxing fan more for that fight. And then the last year, I had a great camp. I'm very strong going over to the UK, fighting for the title. I felt very good. I felt strong. I felt fast. The best that I ever felt. And the week of the fight, I called the COVID. I got very sick. I couldn't get out of bed. That I needed to be. I wanted to fight. I was just too weak to fight. But I think people don't understand. It has not been of me being scared. I fought the best. For 7 fights, I fought the best. So I don't. So in my mind, I don't let people think that I was scared. So they think that that's why I was on COVID-19. But I had the positive test. I mean, I couldn't get out of bed, and that my mental health is more important than somebody watching me win or say watch me at the lead. I'd look out for my body and stuff. So, I mean, I took a lot of heat from that. And then the next fight got canceled again, but that was because it was non-sanctioned over me. I'm not going to fight a non-sanctioned fight that doesn't mean anything. If you win, it means nothing. If you need, it means nothing. So, I mean, but I worked thickly through it. And I can stay positive and continue. I want to trust the process, and that's what and that's what I do every single day.
Yeah, so I can pick up on something you mentioned earlier. In this fight coming up in April, you've got things to prove. You have that anger inside. Do you think some of that comes from people saying that you were afraid to fight when really it was maybe for other reasons? Does that still drive you to prove them wrong and to kind of get that out of the way as well?
It does. Very, very, very much inside. I still get messages. I still get comments saying that I'm a fake fighter and this and that. Dude, I train every day. I'm in the gym. I'm with my coaching. I'm with my teammates. If I'm not around my, if I'm not around my little coaches and I'm in the gym, I'm out running. I'm still training. I'm still getting ready. So on the weekends that I can be back with my team, that I can spar, I'm always in the gym. I fought the boss. That's not a fake fighter. I mean, and it's just those social media is for people to hide behind computer, their phones, the keyboards. They're like warriors or something, like a keyboard warriors or something, or they're just jealous of you, and I don't understand it. But it's the world that we live in. I've seen top athletes deal where they're paid veins. And I know that John Jones, he always wins. They've gotten into a few troubles, but he's still the best. Flory, the Money Mayweather, people still talk crap about her. Tank, Dave. I mean, if you have a bad game, if you have a bad punch, if you have a bad fight, Kamar Usman was on a 15-fight win streak, lost his title to Leon Edward. Everyone's saying he's trash now. It's social media is very, very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, I think I think Paul just lost a fight, right?
He did. Yeah, he did.
His streak was over.
It was Comedy Fury.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably something that you can speak on because I'm sure in your industry, you lose or a fight gets canceled and all the talk starts,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's probably some people that they crumble under that kind of pressure. So what do you think makes it, to where you don't let that get to you and you instead turn into a positive? How do you think you are able to just overcome that negativity and still stay driven to, be your best?
In the gym that that I talk to Ryan, Perez, off and on, if those keeps me going, so as my little teammates, your real friends and the real fan base keeps you going. I just stay positive. I just have that drive mentality that you're not going to tell me that I'm not going to do something there. That I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to that goal. And I think you just keep it going. There's no saying, if you have a negative thoughts, negative vibes, those means negative things happen. So, I mean, if you're negative, then if you get much things that won't happen, you know, you just can't let people get you, like, those people could be jealous of you, or they could be going through hard times, or, it's their ego that they have to bully somebody what they make themselves feel good. I mean, it's a whole bunch of things. So, I mean, I just don't let it bother me. I just very driven. I do what I need to do. I don't argue anymore with it's just stupid, like as long as I'm happy for what I'm doing and I have my little coaches around me, then I guess that's what matters, like I don't say safety you say.
Well, that's great advice. Having a support system that's close by, so that whatever the outside says, hey, they can say what they want. My coaches, my friends, my family, they've got my back, and that's who I do it for. So, great advice there. Let's talk about how you went from being the athlete and the fighter, and now upcoming, we have a couple movies and I think a TV show. How did that get started?
So yeah, that's be interesting. So I got a message one day from the casting director, plus he's an actor, on David J, on Paul. The very good actor, very talented, got a lot of resources. He's very well known. He's very up and coming. He's very driven person. And so he actually wrote the Secret Mechanic. It's a short film movie. It's got a lot of buzz around it. We start filming on March 5th, so in a few days it's coming out. So it's my first movie. It's my first acting movie. I honestly never thought that I would be in movie acting, and I mean I just didn't have interest in it. But you have to see the opportunities. You have to go with what's going on. Or I just very blessed by it, and I have a good role, and we're trying to be interesting. I'm excited, but I have a lot of nerves going in this.
Oh, I'm sure.
And this is outside my little comfort zone, and then trying to get ready for a fight, still working a full-time job, trying to train. I mean, it takes a lot of, it takes a lot out on me. And then you got the movie with David filming in April that's going to Hollywood film. So it's a Hollywood film. It's got some big, it's got Kevin Sorbo in it and stuff like that. So it's got some big career in that movie. That comes out Christmas 2024. So that'll go into movie theaters. So that's a big thing. I have some parts in that throughout that whole entire movie. So I'm very blessed in that, getting an opportunity, and then you got the TV show coming out later this year. That's but no, that's a paranormal thing. I'm not into the Halloween hauntings and ghosts and all that, so that should be interesting. I'm just I'm very blessed. I'm very humble by all the opportunities, that God's good, and if you stay positive, good things will happen. If you have that positive attitude, things will happen. It's all about networking. It's all about how you present yourself. That I have a pretty good following on Instagram, so that has helped. I'm very excited for the opportunity, and I'm very humbled by the opportunity. And the movie thing it's got me frightened inside, but I feel
I'm sure it's new territory for you. It's like, okay, how's it gonna go?
Be correct, yeah. And I grew up with a speech impediment problem, so that kind of disturbs me inside. But that I work very closely with Data J Paul, with the looking director, me and stuff. So I'm sure that it'll go fine. That I feel confident going in. The lines memorizing is very, very tough, but I'm at it every single day. It's just what's the word? adventure going in. Say it's you, a lot of people that see short film has been doing movie a very long time. So I have to learn from them, so I have to pick their brains. I have to understand how they do this and everything. Like, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Right. So, I mean, I'm excited, but there's some nerve inside me.
Oh, of course. You could probably speak on this too. I'm sure when you were a rookie, because you did football in high school, and all of a sudden you transitioned to the fighting world, and you had to get tips from those who were there before you. And so now, fast forward, you're a rookie again in the film industry. You're probably doing the same thing, getting tips. Hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? What's your tips and advice on that? So you're a rookie and a pro at the same time in two different fields. So that's probably interesting to be in that situation now.
Yeah, I mean, it's very tough. I mean, it's something new. That's all I can say. I mean, it's very new. It's very, it's going to be hard. But
well, do you feel like doing new things, even though it's challenging? Do you like to take on new tasks? And do you feel like there's any benefit branching out in that way?
I do like I think like taking on new tasks, taking on more like responsibility. I think it just makes you stronger as a person. No, it's a challenge. And I love that challenge. You know what I mean? So, and you never know who's going to look up to you, like who are you like role model for, if there's kids with autism or like from the Make-A-Wish Foundation or people that are bullied or like someone that just wants to look up to somebody that I just don't give up, and maybe that's what somebody needs to see, I mean, it's about inspiring others, giving somebody that inspiration.
Yeah, that's actually a great transition, because I was going to ask you, and you kind of already mentioned it. So do you have some communities that you like to give back to, that you feel like, hey, you just mentioned a couple like autism or people that were bullied. And if so, how do you give back to them? How do you give them advice? How do you help out and reach out to them in those communities?
I just think every single day, where like somebody watches my page, watches these fights, watch what people say. I mean, I just don't give up. I just keep on going. I just keep on battling. And I think that's the biggest thing. You just can't listen to people saying that you can't do this, you can't do that, they won't do this. I mean, you just got to continue to battle. And I know that I give a lot of my time I give a lot of my time to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's very looking close to my heart. And those kids battling every single day. I think they're the real heroes, that they're the real champions. I become a coach and I volunteered at the special games. I think special.
Well, yeah, the Special Olympics.
Yeah, so I become a coach, and I think they're taught me a lot, because I'm in there and I just want to win. I'm just driving to win. It's about winning and seeing them. They're just happy to bounce a basketball. They're happy just to play the game. I mean,
different perspective you get from them, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I think that really teaches me a lot, and you just gotta go back to the drawing board, and you gotta see what you did wrong, and and I'm always watching film, and I'm always doing this, and I just want to be better every single day. I mean, it goes from life, it goes to my job, it goes into everything. I'm just a very driven person, and I don't stop. And I think that's the best message that I can give to anybody. I mean, it's just about never giving up. Just don't stop. Just continue to work hard. And you just don't give up on your dreams. Don't ever stop. Even if someone says you can't do it, if you have bumps in the road, you gotta continue to work hard.
I love that. That's great advice. I agree. Sometimes people tell you to stop, but if it's your dream and you have that drive, go ahead and do it, because you might prove them wrong. And then they say, you could be the example of how to keep on going and not giving up when everyone says, hey, you shouldn't do that. So those kids really appreciate that message too when you go to the Make-A-Wish events and those things like that.
Yeah. On that point, and I just think, it's about putting my hometown on the map. It's small, it's a small town. Like, I don't forget like where I'm from. I don't forget people. I don't think that I'm bigger than anyone else. I don't even think that I'm a celebrity. I think I'm just a normal person like anyone else. Like, that I've made strides and I've made some big moves, but I still think I'm a normal person every single day. I don't think, that I'm better than anyone else. I would never think that. I just stay very like, humble.
Yeah, man, that's good. Hey, gotta stay humble. I was gonna get into that. I'll add a question for you. So you're in this acting, thing now, which is kind of new, but there's kind of a lot of people who have kind of been in the fighting world and are now actors. Think about like Rock and John Cena, Dave Bautista. Yeah, exactly. So in your future, do you ever see yourself getting to that level, or are you just like not focused on that right now? Just wonder what your thoughts are on that, since you're just getting new film industry.
Well, I know that like David J. Paul's like, that I have a lot going on for you. Like, there's a lot of stuff coming up, and I definitely like will trust him. Like I said, we'll see, like when time will tell.
We'll see what happens.
Where it goes. I think that I'm headed in the right direction with the steps. I mean, especially the movie like on David. It's going to like movie theaters.
Yeah, the one coming out next year. You said 24.
Probably would. Yeah. Yep. On Christmas 2024. I mean, not a lot of people get into a because Hollywood like a movie like that, especially their second film.
Yeah, exactly. So you're on the right path for sure.
Yeah, it's the right like a connection at the right time. You know what I mean? And
yep.
Yeah, I'm just very humbled by it.
Awesome. And then let's talk about, so we had all this experience, in the fighting world. So what do you say are your strengths and then your weaknesses when it comes to your fighting career?
Striking all the way. I feel very confident as a pressure fighter. I think as a pressure fighter, I just feel very strong. I feel very fast. Maybe that I like make mistakes, that I'm not blocking. I'm not looking even my head as much. I mean, maybe I drop my right hand. I mean, little things like that cause me to fight to lose, cause me to take damage. And that's why we practice, why we spar. And I go back and watch film and I continue like them to get better. And, and that's what it's about.
Awesome. Okay. It's good that you know your weaknesses because you can work on them, right? You can always train in the gym. So what's your regular training? Do you have like a daily routine or a weekly routine to get ready for a fight, or just in general?
I mean, like, that I train, I would run, so I do those. So I do load work, I do tag work, I spar. It's all by like rounds. Everything's around. Everything is like 3-minute rounds, and then the load work is cheap, like with the cardio, ab work is cheap. So I just have to get more strict on it, and I just got to dial in.
Okay. So I think we're kind of winding down. So just a couple questions left, maybe like about, some personal things that you're into. So since you're an athlete, fighting world, now you're getting into the movies. Do you have a favorite fighting movie, like boxing movie? I know Rocky's popular and just other things.
Rocky, that I love the movie, but well, I love the new Creed movie.
Yeah, there's a new one coming out. I think either this one or the next one's a Creed 3, right? Yeah.
And so, I mean, I like that. I like, the adversity that he goes through from the first, like the one up to the third, that I always watch that. I watch Underdogs, which is a football movie.
Okay. I think I may have seen that one. Yeah.
I love the movie, like Remember the Titans, my favorite. I think that movie just,
oh, yes,
it defines everything, so it's just, I don't know, inspirational movie, adversity, battling through, trying to be the best, just trying to come together. And I think watching that motivates me more.
Oh yeah. Have you ever seen Rudy? It's like a college football film.
Yeah.
I talk about how they told him, I think he applied to the school like 3 or 4 times before he got in. And yeah, I'm sure that probably hits you at the heart. Just never giving up on his dream. And he got there, Awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you're not fighting and now when you're not acting or working out, so what do you do for fun? What are your hobbies? What are you into?
I fish. I would hunt. I would hike. I go to the water. Like I go to the beach. I go. I'm always by the water. Like I love it. I'm always like on traveling. I'm always wanting to sightsee. Always at festivals. Just just always doing something. Just I gotta be active. Like I can't sit down.
Always got something you got to be doing something, right?
Yeah.
So if there's someone that walked up and said, hey, you know what, Zach, I want to become a fighter like you. I want to be just like you. So what advice would you give him? Maybe when you began, they're the same age. What would you tell them? What would you kind of direct them towards to help them out?
In the gym every single day. Be in the gym, like training. Don't give up and just continue to do what you need to do. Yeah.
Awesome. So before we finish, anything you want to say in closing that you want us to kind of have from you?
I would say, I want to say, like, thank you for definitely like, having me on. And
not a problem. Make sure to out to us.
Yeah, and I would just say to anybody, like, that you just can't give up on your like on dreams, and you can't give up. You just got to continue to push forward.
All right. So your fight in NYC, the 22nd of April, you've got a Secret Mechanic coming out, and you got David in the works. So everyone check out this gem, Zach Johnson, and he's going to be up to a lot of cool things in the future. So stay tuned with what he's got going on. All right. Thanks, Zach.